5 seconds to go. Mr. Vice Chairman, Sir, this year the President's address given to the Parliament gives a well conceived, well prepared picture of the nation. I rise to support the motion of thanks which has been brought before the House by Sri Kulkarni. At the outset, he has pointed out that this year has faced a severe drought. Then he points out to the danger of internal and external forces that remind us of the secessionist tendencies, the terrorism that is prevalent in a very serious form of in the northwest and northeast frontiers of the country. This really requires attention of not only the government but of all the people, of all the political parties existing in different parts of the country. In his speech, he has tried to remind us of the promises made in our constitution. It is our sacred duty to see that those promises are fulfilled. He had said that the ideals of secularism and socialism are the enshrined in our constitution. These values have to be upheld, and above all, integration of the nation is also to be upheld. Sir, it is time that we did not discuss matters out of emotion. When we speak emotionally, we forget these high goals, we forget reality and rationalism. Sometimes it is necessary to see that healthy criticism is there. It is required in our democracy to rectify mistakes of a government. It is a welcome feature, but when we speak emotionally, we forget these fundamental facts and obviously we commit mistakes. Here we should remember that we are speaking in the highest supreme body of the nation, where the future of the nation is to be built. When we are discussing all these things in this house about the goals of the nation, about the development of the national life, the whole world is watching us. So, this factor has also to be kept in mind. Now, coming to the second point about the external dangers. We know of the terrorists in the border states. Sometimes they are assisted by certain outside powers who are not happy with our development. Sometimes they are provided with the latest weaponry with ulterior motives. These things have been discussed in the House and they need not be repeated here, but we cannot be blind to ourselves. We have to look to these aspects. Many of the honorable members have made a mention of these things. and we must be prepared for everything. Sometimes they are supplied with sophisticated weapons. Superpowers are helping them. So we must be careful and watchful. Another thing is about the secessionist tendencies supported under the cover of religious fundamentalism abated by foreign agencies. This must be curbed. That is the greatest danger in our country today. Sometimes chauvinism, regional and linguistic fervors create very dangerous tendencies, and if we do not think of all these things, these may come out as hydra headed creatures in future and create many a splitting situation in the national picture for which we will be blamed in future, whoever is in power. It is the responsibility of all citizens, all political parties to look into these factors which have been rightly pointed out in the president's address. This year we have passed through the greatest drought of the century because India had achieved something in the Green Revolution. We could come out of it. Out of 35 climatic zones, 23 zones suffered from scanty rainfall and drought, and some parts of the country faced floods also. There was loss of crops and damage to crops. Production was much less because we had a buffer stock of 23 million tons, which was sound planning, and the Green Revolution had achieved something. The country could face this difficult situation. At the same time, many honorable members have brought out in this house that the Kisans are unhappy. They are vibrating with new ideas, new expressions of rising expectations. What are their problems? Anybody who goes to the villages comes to know what the balance of trade or the balance of economic situation is not in their favor. The prices are rising and they are not getting justice. That is their feeling. Still worse is the plight of small and marginal farmers. The government is spending a lot on subsidies for food sufficiency by way of subsidized fertilizers and other things, but their share is much less. The dry land farmer and the small and marginal farmer have to do distress sales because in our country there is no proper marketing organization to help them. Unfortunately, we had thought that the cooperatives would develop, but they have not developed and the marketing agencies have not developed. So they are the worst sufferers in this situation of rising prices. The other sectors enjoy a favorable position. They can command the economy. The farmers are very much discontented, for which we have to take proper precautions. That is what I want to submit through this honorable to the government.